Project portfolio management and PPM tools help companies break down every detail of a proposed project, budgets, resources, tasks, timelines and goals. Using in-depth analysis of proposed projects weighed against current projects, a company can define what risks offer the most rewards. Portfolio reports help to display the soft links between multiple sub-projects and display the resource coordination required between projects and department heads, like engineering and procurement, within a matrix organization. Resource forecasting, which is aligned with your order book to allow you to have the right type and level of resources at the right time. Tendering for a contract, winning it, setting the baseline with as-sold rates, delivering, managing actual costs, forecasts, changes in clients' requirements and unexpected events is complicated. As you can see, the list of things that may need to be managed is huge. ERP system integration can deliver a cost management system which improves the invoicing process, project governance, and monitoring and control. What's the impact? Just to populate a simple dashboard covering latest status of cost situation, quality issues, and outstanding invoices to be paid can involve using lots of extracts from a variety of system islands. This could mean getting status updates from document management systems, which may be a whole bunch of C drives and network drives, a pile of drawings on Steve's desk, and a legacy document management system, etc. An HS&E system, which may be a custom-built MS Access database or a spreadsheet, individual status reports pouring into email, a never-ending pile of paper-based POs and purchasing reports from a variety of contractors, and the list goes on. What are the potential issues that are faced with this lack of controls integration? Long time between the production of the application for payment, AFP, issue an invitation to invoice, reviewing the invoice, and the final payment. Many different spreadsheets have to be maintained to produce the AFP, change requests, resource library, and rates and performance metrics. Resource forecasting also takes time and is painful. Project schedules have to be manually reconciled with compensation events and staff plan. Schedules are not aligned with resource forecasts, resulting in a mismatch between project demands and resource availability. When you're overstretched, the resource is not there, and sometimes you don't have too many resources. And none of this is cheap. All of this takes a lot of people to maintain. As many organizations know, this situation only works by having superstars who have the ability to juggle a lot to ride this spreadsheet rodeo and make this non-existent system work. We can formalize this mass of data that is involved in a project into discrete data elements that make up what is controlled, project controls. Whether organizations formally recognize this practice, it doesn't matter. If you deliver projects, you use and need to manage these data elements. If you don't, the impact is that you don't know if you're ahead or behind schedule, if you're over or underspent, if you've spent money on the right thing, if you're getting value for money, or if your problems are over or only just beginning. For example, a request for information, RFI, that is started at site becomes a change request. A technical query, TQ, that starts at the detailed design stage becomes an issue that needs to be managed on the risk register. Collaborative business processes are also required, not a nice-to-have, for those that will be offline from time to time, such as in the basement of a building or way out in the middle of nowhere. Dada Enterprises has been the key partner to bring together disparate systems integration teams to focus on the integrated outputs which will add real value to business operations. In developing the blueprint, we use a fishbone questionnaire to specify a project controls and cost management solution. The key we have found is to develop an enterprise view of cost management definitions on basic terms, like actuals costs. This sounds simple at first, but let's take a superficially simple concept of trying to define what actual costs mean. Surely all companies must know this. Come on, it's not that complicated. It's like the bill at the end of a meal. Simples. But ask yourself these questions. Are you able to calculate the actual costs for the named resources to calculate the break-even rate to work out your profit at the individual resource level? How will you treat accruals? This is important as some companies have an intercompany model. Also, usually companies' reporting cycles have to start before their monthly accounting period is over. What happens then if you want to correct overestimates? How will negative costs be treated in the case of credit notes or over-accrual corrections? If you use resources from outside the UK, do you account for them using floating exchange rates or pegged exchange rates? And if pegged, when and for how long? Do you hedge against currency movements? Does your firm hire out plant or machinery, or use them, or have its own internal company to hire these out internally? Then ask yourself what is included in the price of that plant or machinery. For example, will fuel be built into the actual cost or charged separately? Will the crew to operate the plant, for example a ship or crane, be included in the hire-out rate? What makes up a typical crew on a ship? Would you just supply the crane operator or also the slinger signaller and crane supervisor? Will these be charged out at their break-even rates, blue book rate, or charge-out rate, white book rate? Will you goods receipt at the purchase order header level or the purchase order line item level? So, for example, if you have a purchase order with 5 line items, will these be reflected in the actual cost when all 5 items have been received and goods receipted, or once each one comes in? This is a real issue, as there could be a long time between receiving the first purchase order line item and all 5. In the interim, project managers develop a false sense of security over their actual cost position. They think there is surplus cash, mistake it for profit, and spend it. This example is just used to illustrate how ERP integration is not a software challenge. The real challenge is defining and achieving a common understanding of the solution. Identifying the transition steps from now to then and keeping the organization together and focused on the goal through the transition. Too often, the software confuses client organizations into thinking they can outsource an implementation and they'll get the solution right for them. As you can see, enterprise portfolio tools decrease the reliance on multiple applications that can increase overhead and confuse workflows. They can allow the quick mining of data and coordination with all team members to provide real-time status updates. They provide accurate job costing to track the progress of each job and accurate forecasting of cost to complete for each job. Hopefully, you can see why we believe Project Portfolio Management, PPM, allows business to have a better and more accurate view of their organization and projects. We at Dada believe it helps companies to schedule activities, record actual hours expended, and calculate internal break-even rates to be more easily reported. They help to trigger the raising of invoices and track the company's commercial position, profitability, and risk exposure. Thank you for viewing this video tutorial. Please get in contact to hear how we can offer you a free project audit to benefit from some of the concepts discussed here.